damn thing. If I could have changed my blood type, I would have. Okay? If I could have changed everything about myself, do you understand what I'm saying? I wanted nothing to do with anyone, including my name. So I made the decision to change everything about my name. So yes, you all know my prior name was Tori Outlaw. My name now, my real name, my legal name, the one we gave you the case number for that you could check yourself at the Riverside County Court, is Allison Leilani Carter. And that is my name. That's who I am. My mom is Shelly Carter. Yes?
No name changes.
No name changes. None. I changed my name because I said my real mom and my real family, I'm a Carter. So for those of you who can't logically, 2 + 2 = 4, that's what happened. If
there's nothing nefarious, there's no big
I know people want that to be. I know people really want that to be because people couldn't fathom how a black child took off from the most racist black people that you will ever see. I want to say something real quick about these black people that I had to be in. Black Panthers that I had to be a part of. Okay? They are the most racist black people. And I understand, you guys know that with this Black Lives Matter issue, there is a lot of black people who honestly believe that white people are the problem. They don't feel like they're the problem. No, they're the most racist bunch. If we want to talk about a race war, they're the most racist bunch ever. There's few and far in between of black people that are not racist. Thank you to the angels that are a part of this army that I am talking to. Yes, but you will see for yourself, and you have seen for yourself, especially if this matches you, this skin right here, if this one matches you, then you will see for yourself how racist. There's a lot of very racist black people. We shouldn't have to have this conversation because we all bleed red. But unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, I have to tell y'all this, and like you don't already know. Yes? Who, I want to know, who has been a victim to some very racist black people? There's some racist white people. There's some racist Mexican people. There's some racist Indian people. It goes on and on and on.
Well, I'm Gen X. It's either you're an asshole or you're not an asshole. I don't give a fuck what color you are. Asshole, not asshole.
But if you get down the line, it continues. Yes? So you'll see for yourself who has an issue with white blood. You'll see who has an issue with this color right here. By the way they talk. Listen to them. Follow along carefully. You will hear it. You will see it. And you will see how no matter what you say, no matter what happens, they're the ones that white person, that white man, that white woman stepped in and did what you couldn't do, what you failed to do, what you didn't have the balls to do, what you should have been doing. But instead of admitting that, instead of taking accountability, instead of being responsible for your wrongs, instead of knowing that you fucked up, you want to blame somebody else. And it has to be a color issue. When in reality, it's a humanity issue. It's a heart issue. It's your issue. So if you're hearing that, if you're witnessing that, if you've been a victim of that, I'm sorry.
Well,
as a black woman, I'm sorry. As a strong black woman that knows the definition of a human being, I'm sorry. Do you hear what I'm saying? As a woman, as a black woman who knows that I bleed red, just like this woman right here, just like you that's sitting on here that probably doesn't understand what I'm saying because you're sitting from somewhere else and you speak a different language, I'm sorry. Because I've seen many kids that weren't just black, that weren't just white, that weren't just Mexican and Indian and Hawaiian, and the list goes on, that have been in the middle of this bullshit. But that's the first thing somebody wants to holler is the color of their skin. They don't holler what's wrong. They don't want to talk about what didn't go right. They don't want to talk about who's at fault for what the fuck happened. They want to talk about a color issue. But in reality, it's a heart issue. It's a you issue. But you want to blame somebody. So we jump on a slave bandwagon. But we don't talk about the real slavery that's going on today. Okay? So before you guys, some of you are like, this is a race. It's not a race issue. It's not. But someone wants to make it that way because they're weaponizing people. And majority of those people are, guess what? Black. Majority of the people that you see that are calling for death threats on this woman are black. The majority of the people that you see, there's a few minions that are white. Trust and believe that. They got problems. They just got problems. But the ones that you the ones that you see right now that won't stop their bullshit, majority of them are black people. Are you with me? That are one of the angels, he's Asian. One of the angels had to tell me that's the first time I've ever seen a black man take up for another black woman was to have the balls to talk shit on you. That's the first time I've seen a black man actually talk about another black woman, was to take them down. The only time that I've ever seen another black man have the balls to stand up for another black woman is the few that we know that are in this army. That came from an Asian man. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Are you with me? You get me? This is the war. This is the shit that we're in. So right now we have a bunch of people on platforms weaponizing black people that holler about racism, that holler about being taken down. They don't want to talk about what goes on in their own house. No. We can't talk about that. That doesn't exist. Why? Because they want to say it's a white person issue. It's a white thing. We don't want to talk about when somebody is raped in a black household. I'm so sorry. I told my kids to come back. I love you. Move, please. Miss Justice, Miss Allie need a minute. Move, please. I love you. If you are under the age of 18, move, please. Okay. Parents, give them the Cliff Notes. All right. If you haven't already moved them, I see you already probably did. They don't want to, black people don't like to talk about the rape that goes on in their own homes. They don't want to talk about the amount of issues that go on in their own neighborhoods, the black on black crime that goes on in their own neighborhoods. They talk about, well, I'm gonna beat my child so the world don't have to beat him. No, you beat them the same way that white person that you claim is the person that's doing all the things that you're doing is doing. And then when someone wants to ask you, why is your child fucked up? Why do they have to recover from their childhood? Why do they have to rebuild their life? Then you want to blame a white person because it's your fault. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know a lot of you who are here because you hate us and you want us dead. Hi, I know. Poor you. I know a lot of you that are sitting here that hate us don't understand common fucking sense because it's not common. I know those of you who are our enemies that are sitting here don't understand a rational thought, a logic train of thought. I know that you don't, because your ignorant dumbasses is still the reason that we are still in sex slavery today. So I know a lot of you who cannot get your shit together are the reason that we're still going in circles for this war. I know you don't understand what I'm saying. I know you're that fucking ignorant and you don't understand what I'm saying. I have common sense. I'm a little hot right now, but I got common sense. I know you don't understand or can fathom what the hell I am saying to you right now. But trust me, that's a you issue. That's not my issue. That's not her issue. That's not anybody else's issue, but yours. You understand what I'm saying? So for those who can't get that, the only thing that they can do is kill someone. The only thing that they can do is threaten someone. The only thing that they can do is pull a gun on someone. That's the issue. That's where we at. Do you understand that? So now you have these people weaponizing other followers and other people to say, hurt this white woman because she's making a little bit too much sense. Racist. Pathetic. Simple-minded, stupid, spineless, sorry son of a... Go ahead before I don't stop.
All right. The other thing I saw people getting twisted on was the video clip when Allie was in the bathroom and we were sitting on the floor. I understand a lot of you don't understand intense trauma and what that looks like. So you're trying to put it in the box that you know, and the box that you know goes right to drug addiction, or whatever else. I don't know. Let me explain to you what that was. If you've been here for a while, you've heard me say Allie went down. Pray for Allie. Pray for the kids. Whatever. But you've never seen or understood what I was meaning by that, and there's no way a normal human being can fathom that depth of trauma that's been done to kids, unless you see it firsthand. We had started filming a docu-series. We were trying to get as much information out to you guys so you understand the real of what's going on with the kids. In your own right, if you just live like every other American in your little house and go to school and go to work, you cannot fathom the depths of evil that I've seen, that Allie's had to live through. So we are trying our best to show you what that is. So we were trying to film the docu-series, and I asked the kids, I said, you know, if you want me to go that far, do you want me to film that much? It's up to you, let me know. They said yes. We had an angel staying with us. She's been with us quite a bit over the years. And I don't know what happened that night. Let me just go ahead and go there right now. When Allie first came, the first 2 years that she was there, I was up with her from 9 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning, and she would have graphic, violent flashbacks of things that had happened. If you've not seen somebody have a flashback of being brutally raped, tortured, it will profoundly shake you to your core. For my moms out there, that when you get a sick kid and you're up all night with that sick kid, that usually lasts a day or two. What was going on with Allie at that time, we were up every night, all night long, because she was having flashback after flashback after flashback of rape, torture. So that's what I mean when I say she goes down. There's times where she will just drop to the floor and hit her head. It's not a medical issue. We've been to so many doctors. We've had everything evaluated 3 or 4 times. It's not a medical issue. It's a trauma issue. Because of so many alters in the system, there's sometimes the system will kind of, I don't know how you want to explain that, but the best way I can explain it to you is the system will glitch. So what you were seeing in that little clip was the system glitching. And the way that looks is that altar after altar after altar after altar after altar will come up in succession. There are deaf altars. There are altars that are blind. There are altars that are autistic. There are altars that speak other languages. I told you before, there's over 200 altars. Most of them are children, little children. When they split the psyche, when they purposely abuse them, when they program them, they can call them up. So if you are being sex trafficked and you have MK Ultra and DID, your buyer can say, you know what, I want a 5-year-old autistic kid to rape tonight. And they can call that altar up out of the system. That's the whole purpose of it. It's to feed fetishes. So I was on the floor with Allie. A deaf kid came up. A autistic kid came up. We had been dealing with that for going on 2 hours. And the angel that was with me, will help me, but most of the time I'm by myself. So when somebody's there to help me, they'll start reading the Bible. They'll go put worship music on for me. We had been doing that. It had been about 2 hours. I asked her, I said, you know what, pull your camera out real quick. Just take a short little clip. The kids had told me before that they were okay with that. When they finally came back and were tracking better, they got the footage, and it was up to them to do whatever they wanted with that. They chose to show it because people need to see the depths of evil being done. It saddens me and sickens me that people are trying to say that I'm drugging Allie, that it's a drug issue. When you answer questions and when you respond to survivors like that, that lets me know you're probably not in a position to help other kids. If you can't figure out what's going on, if you don't have any compassion for that, if you can't understand the depth of the trauma that's been done, if you have my mom's out there, if you have a kid that's sick, if you go to the doctor and the doctor says, you know what, your kid has this really serious thing, it's leukemia, that's all I can tell you, they're really sick and they're going to have a lot of problems, but I can't help you figure it out. That's kind of where I was at that time. I knew she had DID. She had been diagnosed with DID in 2012. There was nobody to help. Anybody that pretended that they could help, they would see her for a few minutes and she was out of the scope of their practice. Her DID and the MK Ultra was beyond anything that they could or would be able to help with. So I had to figure that shit out. When Allie goes down, my job is to get on the floor and comfort the kids. When you have that degree of trauma, those kids come out, and they're in a state of terror because they were created in a state of terror. They were created in the middle of torture and abuse. So when they're coming up like that, like what you were seeing, most of them are in a state of terror. They don't know who I am. They don't know where they are. They think they're about to be hurt. And we've already discussed what hurt means. It doesn't mean you stubbed your toe. They're about to be hurt and they're in a state of terror. My job is a mother is to get on the floor.
It's a real mother.
To hold them, to comfort them.
That's what a
To
mom
make them
does.
feel safe. And that's what you were seeing. It was not a drug problem. And it really kind of sickens me that you guys would drag a survivor like that out of your own ignorance. That's not cool.
That's because a lot of you don't know what a real woman looks like. That's what those people are missing. The ones that are dragging that video don't know what a real mom would do. You want to dismiss something like that from happening. You don't want to deal with something like that. So therefore, you don't know what that looks like.
So I'm asking all of you, we are doing our damn best to get the information out to you guys, to show you in real time what it looks like for a child that's been traumatized to that degree, what DID looks like, what MK Ultra is, and how that looks. People use those terms real loosely, like, oh, they got MK Ultra. You're not understanding what you're saying. But when people respond real callously like that, please watch them. They don't have the capacity to show compassion, to show unconditional love. And if they don't have the capacity to do that for Allie, chances are they're not going to have the capacity to do that for another child in need.
Let alone their own. These are the women that pop babies out like guppies, and there's a lot of them. And then they want to get mad at somebody for showing real love, and they don't know what that means. So the one thing to do is attack.
When Allie came, all that trauma was already in place. All those altars were already in place. All that trauma and torture and abuse had already happened. And we're gonna talk about that. I told you we would talk about the bathtub things and the different types of programming that are done in MK Ultra. So we're gonna get into that right now. But again, you got your paper. Allie has over 200 alters. Out of those 200 that I've documented, 4 of them are over the age of 18. That's it. 4. The rest of them are 18. Actually, the rest of them are 17 and under. So I'll let you do the math on that. There are more. I can guarantee you there are more alters than 200. I just haven't had the opportunity to document them all for various reasons.
And if you're...
Go ahead.
I can?
Huh?
Okay. If you're sitting on Facebook right now, you're witnessing threats come through the comments. This is why we turn the comments off on IG. But Queenie, hi honey, you want to threaten Amy Silver. I know that these emails that you're putting up are not her. You guys make up so much shit. So here's the thing. Amy is a grown ass woman. She was in pictures with me. That's what people are trying to do. Amy is a grown woman that happened to be in a picture with me. I want everybody to take a guess on what color she is and why they're threatening her in these comments. Take a guess on what color she is. Huh? Everybody? Who wants to take a guess on what color Amy is? Do you want to take a guess? Do you want to take a guess what color Amy is? Anybody? This is an interactive live. You guys are... The thing is, though, what I'm happy for is I hope that somebody holds a lot of these people accountable. No violence. I'm not inciting any violence. We don't incite any violence. We don't work like them. They've threatened everybody. They've made lies about everybody. They've said they're going to hurt people. They said they're going to get rid of people. That's their only comeback when their ignorance is showing. Your ignorance, your horns are showing. Okay? So when you said white, yup, she white. Now guess what color this person is? That's threatening her in the comments. Go ahead, take a look. Go ahead, guess. That's the sad part. Now, this is not a race issue, but this is what I'm talking about. Okay? We're going to ignore this person because this person needs some type of education even though they can't hear. But ignore them because that's the problem with these type of people. Even the celebrities, down to the little. I told you it wasn't just the top. You're now looking at the grunts, the bottom of the barrel, the bottom of the shoe, the scraping off the ground. You're looking at it. You're watching it. You're witnessing it. Slave traders at their finest. Slave traders that are just like a demon that can't help themselves. You're now watching them crawl out of every dark corner like a cockroach that they came out of. You're watching them and you're seeing how they work. If this is the amount of time, amount of research that you can do on a person that's in a picture with me, why can't you do that amount of stuff for the children that are missing?
Well, there has been, in the last couple of weeks,
there's
been almost 40 hours at least.
If you can put that much time into threatening grown people, imagine what we can do for the children. Imagine what could happen. If people put this much work into how much you want to kill me, imagine if they would put that much work into talking, let alone looking for children. That's how you also notice who's who. Because if they can put this amount of these truth tellers, platforms that are going live and speaking on us for hours and hours, digging into past pictures. Somebody threatened my special needs child. That mom is sitting on here. What's up, C? Please tell my babies I love them. I used to teach special needs babies that are over the age of 18. Do you understand what I'm saying? But their mindsets are not. So I had people threatening my baby because they were in a picture with me. People are digging in old pictures and then going after people. If you could put that much time into things like this, how come you can't do that with the local children missing in your area? This is Human Trafficking Month. I don't, even if it wasn't, every single damn day we've been fighting for kids. We have not wavered from the truth of kids. We are talking about what happened as a kid. We are talking about what's going on with the kids. And I'm a very humble person. I don't have to honk the horn about that just as much as I don't have to tell you I'm black. You understand what I'm saying? So, but if somebody could put that much energy, as you see people putting in energy to hate us, on your local missing children, if you pull it up, there's more than 10, more than 20, more than 30, probably more than that, missing from an area. And you can pull up pictures of adults that were standing with me. I rebuke you. And you can do this. Imagine if that much work, if that much dedication, if that much strive was put into looking for a local missing child, into talking about what's going on with their children, into talking about, by the way, California, get ready for that earthquake, into talking about the fires that are burning evidence right now. If you could do all of this, and then the lies that they make up too. You're sending a lot of people different ways. If you guys actually look into these emails, names, these are different people. That's how much their lies don't even hold weight. Go ahead, look up everything that they're saying. Dig into it. You won't find us. Why? Because it's a lie. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, no matter what, I just said, yeah, I know Amy. I do know Amy. But what you're saying about her is not true. That's the thing. But you looked up a grown-ass woman. You just want the truth? Really? Or do you want to be ignorant? I'm not going to give you any more time. I just want people to see your ignorance. Because it's people like you of why we are in the situation we are in. You are disgusting. Majority of y'all are disgusting human beings. I would tell you what I'm honestly thinking, but I cannot. Because it's social media still. You are a disgusting human being. And people like you need to be shown to the world. People like you, people need to see what the fuck you do. People need to see how you get down. People need to see how you will do so much for wrong, but you won't do a damn thing for right. That's what people need to see. So I'll leave you here. You can stay. I know you'll hate me either thing that I do. But the point is, I'm not going to give this person any more time, but you got to take note from these type of people. What's the truth? It don't seem like you wanting to tell. You don't want me to. You're telling your own story. Don't start asking me now like you give a shit. Don't do that. That's gaslighting. And you guys have been through enough gaslighting for over 40 hours of bullshit. You guys are seeing gaslighting at its finest. Slave traders at its threatening at its finest. Bullshit at its finest. Pay attention to it. Don't get stuck on it. Take a note. You got your piece of paper? Take a note. But what's wrong with these type of people is nobody ever holds them accountable for the bullshit that they do. Nobody. But please, let's not get distracted. Don't just ignore that. Please, just go ahead. I'm gonna ignore this person. So we're gonna ignore this person because we still have a lot of serious things to talk about. But I just want you to, on your piece of paper, take note of what's going on. There's a lot. They're lying. They're just making shit up. I'm telling you. Rochelle Hawks. Go ahead, look her. I'm sorry to Rochelle. Yeah, I saw another person. Pray for this woman. I'm sorry to another person that they claimed as my mom. She's a 20-year-old newlywed. Because we had to look up the bullshit too. When somebody contacted us and said, is this your mom's name? I'm like, no, but who is this woman? It's a newlywed. You're trying to live your life and people are coming after you making up shit. I'm sorry. But do you understand are y'all with me? Do you understand what I'm saying? If only the amount of shit that people do, if only they would put this much energy into the children, we wouldn't be going in circles about what trafficking is in the first place. Yeah. Carry on, Mom.
So in the past 2 weeks, I think you have seen probably the biggest smear campaign I have ever seen in my life, which leads me to believe we're over the target. But that smear campaign against Allie and I was paid for. It was to defame, it was to threaten, it was to harass, it was to slander, it was to silence, and the worst part of it was to trigger Allie's programming. We stopped doing interviews because there was nobody that we could trust, and when we did, people were trying to trigger her programming. And in the last couple weeks, they've been trying to trigger her programming a lot, and you might not understand how that looks, so I'm going to explain that to you, what programming triggers look like. So if you think of a huge apartment building, when they start splitting the child and causing trauma and programming the alters, they are building a slave. So Allie is like a 200 child slave with her alters. Each altar,
Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, each altar does a separate thing, has a separate responsibility, but there's a foundation to that building that involves mom programming. There's a foundation and part of the programming that's father programming or dad programming. There's programming that happens on the 12th birthday. There's programming that happens in the bathtub or wash day. There's couples programming like Zach and Aaliyah that we were talking about a little bit ago. There's programming based on the name. There's race triggers programming. Let me explain to you. When somebody stepped forward, they had their face covered, and when that was not triggering Allie's programming, they uncovered their face, and they continued on in that way. When that still didn't trigger Allie's programming, a lot of you got weaponized to start calling Allie Tori Outlaw. Call her Tori. That's her name.
That don't bother.
That was trying to trigger Allie's programming.
That don't bother me because that's not my name.
When pictures were shown to you of somebody that was supposed to be a father, it was the 12th birthday picture because that was trying to trigger the programming. In the last 15 years that this kid has been with me, we have worked very hard to break the programming. If I were to take her to a deprogrammer or to the church, they want to reset the programming. They want to deprogram her. Integrate her. I don't agree with any of those things because that still leaves the foundation and that still leaves the building blocks for the programming to be installed really easily.
For those who don't understand what that means, it's putting a Band-Aid over a leak.
My goal since she's came, and I've seen the depths of the evil that's been done, is to destroy the programming and break it irreparably so that it can never be used against her again. Our enemies are having a little debate on whether her programming is irreparably broken or if they can still try to trigger that, and that's what you've been seeing for the last couple weeks. It sounds like, oh, this poor lady is just missing her kid, and she's talking about the 12th birthday, and she's talking about giving her a bath, and she's talking about all these other things. That's not what she was doing. She's triggering the programming to get Allie back in line.
And then when that didn't work, she started projecting. Now, again, back to these ignorant people. Has anybody had, who's on here that's a foster parent? I'm sorry, Mom, can I?
Yeah.
Can I? I'm sorry. We going off track. I don't want to
That's
go off too much off
We
track,
good.
but here we go. Who's ever had a foster kid? Anybody? I'm looking and I don't have my contacts in, so I'm squinting. I don't have my contacts in. I can't see that much. Who has ever had a foster kid? Who has ever had a child in their home and they came from a very messed up past? Very messed up. It takes you a little bit. Who has ever been in a custody battle? That's another one. Anybody ever been in a custody battle? And the parent that they keep giving them to is the bad parent. And when they finally get back to your home, it takes you a little bit to get it back into their mind of what this actual schedule is. What's really going on. We need to lay off the sugar for a second so we're not bouncing off the walls. Who has went through that custody battle? Where by the time you get them back to the house and you get them straight and you get them good and they're back on track, then they go back to that house that you know they shouldn't be at. But you can't do anything because it's the family court. And family court is built on family issues. The only way family court stays in business is if there's an issue within the family. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are y'all with me?
That's their currency. Family problems.
That's the only way that's the commodities is the problems within the family. So if you've ever had a foster kid, stay with me. You get them from a very messed up past. And you finally get them in your home. And about 4 or 5 or 6 months later or however long, the social worker comes and tells them, I'm going to put them on a visitation with their old family, knowing that family is bad, knowing that family didn't take care of that kid in the first place, knowing that the second that you send that kid back, that kid is going to leave everything good that they know. Every bit of peace that they had is out the window. You understand what I'm saying? This is the same type of issue that's going on. When you finally go to talk to the social worker, even the parents, they're projecting everything that they've done wrong to you. Because now you've given that child peace. You've showed them what love is. You've educated that child on what real love is. You've given them the right to be free. You've given them a family. You gave them hugs that they never had. You stopped to do what needed to be done so they didn't have to recover from that part of their childhood, right? But then, because that person is angry because they failed to do what they were supposed to do, they start projecting, well, that person's a drug addict. The family's a drug addict. Well, that person's trafficking. They traffic them. Well, that person doesn't keep them clean. When the child came to you, they came in the same outfit and they weren't clean. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Projection. Narcissism 101. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Has anybody went through that? Have y'all went through that? Are y'all with me? Where by the time you try to what the heck, I have done everything, and they just gonna throw this child back to the hell that they came from and ignore the fact that I have busted my ass, bent over, backwards, forwards, sideways, went through hoops and fire hoops to give this child some peace. You don't see what you took them from? You don't see when they get back to that person and they're a different person? You don't see that? Do you not see that? Okay. That's exactly the projection, the narcissism 101 that's going on. Do y'all see that? If you've been through it yourself, you can witness it. You can witness it and you can see recognize it. That's my word. Sorry. You get me? Okay, Mom, carry on. Sorry.
So I can give you. We don't have a lot of time, but there's just so much to unpack with the MK Ultra stuff. You guys have got to dig into that. That's the crime against humanity. That's the big problem. But when Allie's programming was being built when she was a little kid, the police officer would come into the home at 4 a.m, rape her in her closet. The parent would conveniently always be in the bathtub. When the police officer was raping her in the closet every time, he would lay his badge and he would lay his gun right next to her in sight, and the protection, or the person that should have been protecting her, was in the bathtub. Those are programming triggers. So whenever you see a badge and a gun, it's going to trigger that nobody's protecting you. Whenever you see the bath, it's going to trigger the badge and the gun that you're going to be hurt. Those are triggers. Those are visual triggers. There's audio triggers. There's phrase triggers. There's visual triggers. So that's what's being done. But the masses aren't aware of that because they're not understanding the depth of the evil. It's not just trafficking. It's so much deeper and it's so much darker than that. So I just wanted you guys to know what you're seeing. I wanted you guys to know why we back up. I wanted you to know why we aren't taking any more interviews. Because there's so many traps laid trying to trigger Allie's programming. We're just not doing it. If you just step back and take an aerial view of the last couple weeks of all the slander and the defamation, it is physically impossible for me to be all of those things. But what's happening is they're just throwing everything, hoping something will stick, hoping something will exhaust everybody to be like, you know what, I can't sort through all that bullshit. I'm just gonna go focus on sports, or I'm gonna go do something over here. I'm gonna take my mind off the kids because this is too much drama. I apologize that we are inadvertently getting drug into that. Regardless if you hate us, regardless if you like us, don't lose sight of the kids, because this is the deal breaker. This is crimes against humanity. What's going on with these kids? When you go back and look at the video in the bathroom, at what I told you was actually happening, when you realize that there's so many millions of kids that are going through that every day, and they don't have anybody to sit with them, they don't have anybody to comfort them, they don't have a stuffed animal to hold on to, it's going to happen to them again tomorrow. I want you to start understanding the fight we're actually in. You're seeing how evil is rearing its head. You're seeing how dark and the fires in California are covering things up and burning evidence. You're seeing evil freak the fuck out and thrash around and try to do whatever it can to right itself. I'm going to shift gears real quick. The last 2 weeks for us have been really heavy and really dark. There's not an easy answer of what to do. We are trying to hold integrity. We are trying to keep the eyes focused on the kids. I don't care if you like me. There's a lot of people that I'm not real fond of either. But that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what religion, what sex. I don't care about any of that. If we can't come together for the kids, humanity is not going to survive. It's dark and it's deep. For those that are threatening me, my life is not my own. God ordered my birth. God orders my death. You can threaten to kill me, but I've already submitted my life for God to do whatever He chooses to do. My life is surrendered to Jesus Christ. If He lets me continue to breathe, I will continue to speak for the kids. If He takes me home in the next 30 seconds, that's His choice. But you don't factor into that equation of when I live and I die. That's on God's time. And as long as I'm living, I will continue to stand and fight and speak for the kids. For you moms and dads out there, I'm going to go real quick. Hang on 1 second. There's a Bible story in Exodus 17, 8 through 6. Moses was with the Israelites. He was with Aaron and a man named Hur. And then there was Joshua. Joshua was leading the army. God told him to go fight the Amalekites. The Amalekites were very evil people. They were practicing witchcraft. They were messing with demonic and sorcery and all this stuff. And they were very evil people. God said, go fight them. So Joshua went down to go fight. Took the army down to go fight against them. God told Moses to go up on the hill with Aaron and Hur. When the battle was raging, if Moses had his hands in the air, the army of God was winning. When Moses' arms got tired, they would start to lose. So Aaron and Hur came along beside him and held his arms up so he could continue to fight and they could continue to win. Allie and I are in this fight, whether you stand with us or not. But we need you moms and I need you dads to stand with us and hold our arms up so we can continue to fight for the kids. If you find something in your house, if you have a ball or whatever, if you put that on the counter and every time you see that or every time your arms get tired, if you will remember to pray for us, we will continue to stand for the kids. But we can't do it by ourselves. This is not a one-man thing. The evil against this is too dark. It's too old. This is ancient evil. We will stand no matter the cost, no matter the outcome, but we need help. We need you to pray for us. We need you to hold our arms up so we can continue. That's it.
For those of you who there's been rage bait, clickbait, character assassination attempts on us. We have pushed a lot of you back. Y'all know who we are. Y'all know how we get down. Y'all know who we are. For the angels that have met us, we're going to do a chat tomorrow. If y'all would like to come on and just speak about what you've seen, what you've witnessed, you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. But if you would please come on and speak to my dance parents, my dance moms, and my dance dads. Y'all know who I am to the babies. Y'all know who I am. I know you know who I am. From my special needs kids to my dancers, y'all know who I am. I have pushed a lot of you back. I'm asking you to come forward if you would like to. I've spoke to a few of you recently. Thank you. My dancers that are not 18 yet. If you want to talk to your parents and you want to tell them about that chat that's going on tomorrow and they would like to speak on that chat, tell them they need to go through me first. You guys still have my number. Text me. If you would like to be on that chat tomorrow, text me first. Do not go through an admin. Do not go through anybody that's saying, oh, I know I can. No, go through me. You still have my number. Okay. I know I'm not the person that they want me to be. I'm not even close. I am proud of myself for becoming the woman that my mom right here taught me to be. I am very proud of myself. I give it to my mama second, but I give it to God first. If I didn't move, if I didn't make the decisions that I made, if I didn't get tired, if it wasn't all the torture that I went through, if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be the woman that I am sitting here as today. If you would like to speak on our behalf, if you don't, that's okay too. I get it. If you're like, listen, I don't want to get in the middle of that. I get it. Keep the baby safe. You know, that's my number one thing. You know, that's where I go to first. You know, that's why I push you back. You know, that's why I've been kicking you off chats, moving you out the way, pulling your pictures down, making sure there's no tie to you. I'm asking you now. This is the time. Go ahead, speak up. If you are okay with posting the truth of me with your child, and that's on you, and you decide to do that, thank you. You know who I am. You know me. That is not something that you can fake. That's not something that you can pretend. I know you know that. So thank you to those who can come and stand on our behalf. Because I know that we don't have to defend ourselves too hard. When you know who you are, when you love what you do, when you move in the right way, everything else speaks for you. You don't have to speak, you don't have to say much. My mama taught me that. I overshare, I over defend. I do a lot because everything has always been blamed on me my entire life. Since I was a baby, it's my fault. Since I was a baby, being beat was my fault. Being raped was my fault. Being able to have kids is my fault. Not knowing what to do was my fault. Running was my fault. Trying to kill myself was my fault. It's not my fault. I'm not taking that no more. There are times when I get in a corner. There is. Who doesn't? Who wouldn't after all of this? But I know who I am. I know who my mom is. I know who my God is. So I'm not tripping. If you're like, I can't do that, that's okay. That's all right. I know that eventually the truth will do its own thing because we have done everything that we could the right way. You're seeing people projecting and you're seeing people say there's trafficking involved. But they want to project that to this woman or the 90s angels that have stood on our behalf because they can't fathom people doing the right thing because they never did it themselves. For those of you who just met me under justice, Lottie, I love you. I know you're sitting right here, sis. For those of you who have just met me under justice, Jessica, I know you're sitting right here, sis. Knight Rider, I know you're sitting right here, bro. For those who have met me under justice, you met me when I went ahead and put my head down for a year. For a year straight, you guys didn't hear from us, right? Do y'all remember that interactive portion? I'm sorry, I'm crying. I have 3 phones right now that I'm holding, so can't wipe my face. All right. You met me under justice. We found a rental in this small town, and we stayed in this area for a short time. We were able to meet and work with children and their parents. And in this time that I worked with them, we created some artistic things. No one knew me under Allie. They knew me under Miss Justice. It was my stage name for the moment because we had angels that came out, stood with us while we were able to put our heads down for this short time when someone asked me, hey, stay and do what you love for a quick second. And I did. You guys remember when I had the blue hair? Y'all remember that? We took these kids to a place to go ahead and show what they've learned. And in that time, someone recognized me, a few people, and they said, your name is not Justice, it's Allie, isn't it? Yep, that's true. But for right now, I have kids around me and I need to keep them safe. In that time, we created something called Disruptive Demand. We created something called Ward of the State, War Room, a sister's bond. Bullying stops with me nowadays. Whiskey Lullaby. I'm missing somebody. Am I missing somebody? I'm missing somebody. Oh, in Pearl Harbor. Y'all know who I'm talking to. We took these kids and I said, guys, I don't believe this is just going to be seen by your little small town. I believe that one day this will be seen by millions. So prepare yourselves. In this time, I told the kids numerous times, when you walk into a room, you are more than what? Enough. What you bring to the table will always be what? Enough. I had them stand in the mirror and I had them do affirmations because I cared about their mental health more than what was possible of what they can do for this artistic vision. I made sure that they had dinner came out of my pocket that I didn't have, but I made sure because I cared. I didn't ask you for anything. I just did it because they're kids and they deserve to be happy. That's what happened. You know who I am. You know what I did. You know what I created. And now you understand why. Right? Cool. If you would like to get on this chat tomorrow, you have my number. Please text me. Don't go through anybody else but me. I will point you to the right people. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. But heads up to you, someone found that spot. Protect your babies first. Don't worry about me, if that's the case. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And if you don't, text me. Okay? That chat will be going on at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay? If you can make it, great. If you could send in a voice message and you don't want to go live with them, great. Send it to me. Text me as far as a dancer goes, as far as a student goes. I want you safe, but I know y'all are on here. I know you guys are seeing it, and I know some of you are like, let me speak, and I keep pushing you back. I'm telling you right now, I'm not pushing you no more. Go ahead. But if you don't speak on my stuff, just continue to speak for the voices that need you. Be a voice for the voiceless. We said we were doing just this weekend to speak on the children, but this is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. After all the hell and the things and the time that people have taken to slander, to lie, to threaten to take me, to torture, I think we need to keep going for the rest of this month. The march is now moved. The digital virtual march is now moved to a month long. Please continue to speak and post. Don't let up about the children until the month of January is over. Can you do that, please? Everybody. A lot of you are digital soldiers on here. That's it from the UK, Africa, Australia, Greece, Ireland, all of you from all around. I love you. Thank you. But keep this virtual march going for the rest of the month. Don't let up. Talk about the children. Post about the children. Look in your areas and talk about the children that are missing. Utilize every platform that you can to continue to talk about the children. Do not let up, because they're burning evidence. I told you that already. Remember, everybody's like, how did you know about the fires? MK Ultra. How did you know about the things that you knew about? MK Ultra. Now you're going to be asking me soon, how'd you know about the earthquake? MK Ultra. California, get ready. It's coming. I can't control it. I can't do that. We're nowhere near California. Warned y'all about the fires, and everybody's like, but how did she? MK Ultra.
She didn't start them.
I didn't start them. I'm over somewhere else. I'm not near California. We have the receipts to where we are too, so don't try that bullshit. I will continue to use my voice. I will continue to fight like hell. And if I fought like hell to get here, trust and believe me that I'm not budging, and I will fight like hell to stay where I'm at. So for those who keep, she needs to go back to where? As a 30-year-old woman, I am now 30 years old, and I will be 31 in February 15th to be exact. I thank God that I have lived 31 years of life, because as you can see with the evil that you're seeing, I was not supposed to make it past 16. That's what I kept trying to tell y'all. So after 31 years of life, I am blessed to still say that I am sitting here. I haven't made it to 31 yet. Let's make sure we make it there. I don't know what's happening. We're trying to make it to 31. Mama ain't 64 either. No. She's not 64. But in her 50 plus years of life, she's still been fighting. Okay? My mom, also to give you a little tidbit, does not have any children of her own. It's not that she couldn't have any children of her own. She chose not to. Because there was too many children going through all kind of hell. So she chose to become a foster mother and to become my adopted mom. My real mom. She chose that. I am chosen. I am chosen. Okay? So for that rumor too, that's not true. I'm chosen and I'm the baby. Yep. That's the truth. For those of you who hate us and still can't understand what the hell we just said in all this live, the feelings are mutual. For number one. For number two, please stay away from any other child, and I pray for your own. I pray for the ones that come from you, because clearly they've had to recover from their childhood, and it shows through you. It shows through every move that you make, every threat that you send, every time that you go to attack. It shows that, God forbid, that you have children, they've had to recover from the children that you tried to tear down. That shows. I'm sorry to those kids who have parents like this. There's a lot of kids that deserved to not have to recover from their childhood. I am very proud of the woman that I stand here as today. My name is Allison Leilani Carter. Tori Outlaw is dead. Father God, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this time, Jesus. I know there's so many that don't believe in you, and I didn't give them a warning, God, but I ask that you stand with them. I ask that you let them feel your love. I ask that you show them and put a fire in them to continue to speak on behalf of those who don't know what love is, Jesus. I thank you for the protection that you are still putting around us, God. Through every storm that rages against us, Jesus, we sit in the storm and we know that at one point, Jesus, it will pass. It might take down windows. It might take down doors. It might burn houses. But Jesus, we know that this storm will pass because you said it will. We stand on your word that every weapon can form, but it will not prosper, Jesus. We put on our armor of God and we continue to stand in the storm, God. We continue to fight for every child that needs us. We continue to speak on behalf of those who can't speak for themselves, Jesus. I put on my helmet of salvation with my mom, my breastplate of righteousness, my girdle of truth, my shoes of peace and readiness, God. I take up my shield of faith and my sword of the Spirit, and I will never stop fighting. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in Jesus' name, I thank you, I praise you, I honor you, and I will forever glorify your name because I've seen what you have done, God. I thank you for keeping me. I thank you for showing me, and I thank you for choosing me to continue to keep going. Jesus, I ask you to please, please, please show everybody who you are. Somehow, some way, God, I know that this storm that's going on is not just for us and it's not about us. Jesus, I pray for those who don't know you. I pray for those who don't want to know you, God, because of whatever they've had to go through, and they think that that is not the person they want to know, God. I pray for those who don't know you. Jesus, I love you. I thank you. And please keep holding us in your hands. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Godspeed. We pray that you talk to y'all sooner than later. And Sharon told her y'all know the drill. Bye, guys.